and welcome back to the ACSC podcast. As usual, it's Charlie and Adil again, and this week we've got another guest on. It's Dons Action. They're an independent supporters association, all about NK Dons, so it's a chance to get a bit more local side around here, so there's a chance for that. So, Any of you quick Adil?
Yeah, so episode 11 now. They are going really fast. And of course, having someone from the MK Dons who is our actual local club by location. I'm from Milton Keynes, Charles is from Bicester. But just to hear a bit more about MK Dons really and the season they've had and potentially going forward in the future. And having Ollie here, who Charles will introduce in a second, from Dons Action, is a welcome guest, and it's someone we welcome on here.
So I'd like to introduce yourself, Ollie. You can talk about your channel. Advertise it.
So I'm Ollie. I run Dons Action. We sort of started up when did we start up? January last year. We realised that there was a number of things that sort of younger fans had issues with at the club to do with atmosphere and not really feeling represented at a higher level within the club. And we felt that we needed to sort of create something that would give, a better atmosphere and sort of make it a better place and also give younger fans a voice because we didn't have one before we were about.
Yeah.
That's understandable. Nice.
You've got a bit of a following at the moment, haven't you? Yeah. And you've obviously got some sort of a base now, but you've got a few with you.
It picked up quite quickly. We thought we would get laughed off to start with, but we gained 100 followers in an evening, and then from there it just kicked off really. We kept gaining stuff. We've done so much since, and it's built up to a point now where the club really do take us seriously. So it's gone a lot better than we thought it would, I would say.
That's really good.
That's good. I'll let you kick start questions off.
Okay, yeah. So the first question we've actually got for you today as well is what do you make of the curtailed season, and do you think it's the right decision that was made by the EFL board?
I haven't really thought about it too much because, in my opinion, it was sort of the end of the season for us because there wasn't, as a Dons Action, there wasn't really anything left for us to do. We knew if football did continue, we wouldn't be able to do anything because we wouldn't be back, and if it doesn't continue, it's the same situation. So we weren't really too bothered by it. Personally, I'm kind of happy about it because it means we stay up, and that's all I was really bothered about. There's no risk to it. But it was nice to see that the club were ready to play if need be. I think that was our position. It was sort of we were going to go with the majority. So I think even if we did continue to play, we would have stayed up. So I was never too worried about it. But
okay, so that's what I was next. So obviously, would you have? Because obviously, I know Tranmere had a bit of a resurgence towards the end. If the season did continue, was there that worry that you could have slipped into that relegation zone?
Not at all. No, we were playing unreal football. We were looking so good that it was never really in a lot of our heads that we were still really in a relegation battle. We'd sort of forgot about it. Towards the end, before the game sort of finished, I think we had 3 really tough games in a row, and that put us back down in it a bit. But our running wasn't too bad. I think we would have been fine. I think I was looking at the run-ins of the other clubs, and I think AFC Wimbledon. I know it's very personal to us, but I think they are very lucky to be in the position they're in.
And they were a place below you, weren't they, AFC Wimbledon?
They just about. I think it was 0.04 points they've stayed up by, something like that. It was ridiculously close. Yeah, they've got very lucky with it, but. Just looking at their run, we still had to play their man Tranmere before the end of the season. So that's why I was quite confident because I think we could have won both of those games quite easily. So I never really saw us being in it, and I think so I think they're very lucky to be in the division next season.
Quite confident in saying that Dons would have potentially stayed up. Just about a little bit on Russell Martin. Now, Russell Martin came in was midway. Well, when was he appointed? I think was it not long ago?
November. He got appointed,
Yeah, so he's obviously been in the job for, I guess, long enough in the modern times, if you like. What do you make of him? And do you think he could be the right man? Because I know you've had managers in the past they showed a bit of ambition, they've done well, and then within a year, they've moved on to bigger things.
No, absolutely. I think Robbie Nilsson's the perfect example of what you just said. He had the first 7-8 months he had with us were brilliant. He took us from the relegation zone to mid-table. And then the season after we went down, so it just says it all. But I think the difference with Russ is he gets the club, and the coaching staff he's got get the club as well. Like I had someone from the club message me the other day saying that our goalkeeping coach wants to meet me and the other lads who run Don's Action just to have a chat about things and how appreciated we are, and that says a lot to us, because we never would have had that under Tisdale, under any manager before that. Potentially Carl Robinson. Like he's a lot of our fans are comparing Russell Martin to Carl Robinson after him being here for 6 months,
right?
Whereas Robinson was here for 6 years,
and
there's already the comparisons being made. So I think it says a lot about him. And the football we play is phenomenal. Like we've had players comparing us to Man City.
Does that help? Obviously, he played at Don's for as a centre.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
For a season, I think played for Don's.
He played when he joined January last season, and then was sort of in the first team ever since. And I think his signing last January was the reason we went up. He was brilliant when he came in.
And obviously now, because you kind of gets the club, and obviously from the player now as a manager, so there is that. Yeah. I don't think you've had. Have you had any manager who was a player at the club before then became?
I don't think so. No, not my head. I can think of no. But no, his relationship with the players is it's so obvious it's there, and I think the fact that he was a player has helped out so much with him, because he knows everyone already, and it's been really useful, I think.
And I think it's key for you, like you're saying, is that relationship with the fans. Is that sort of developed a lot more recently? Obviously.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I think we sort of got disillusioned a bit with the number of managers. Like Nielsen never really was that close with the fans. There was never really that connection there, because he'd come from a club that had a much bigger fan base than us in Hearts. Up in Scotland, they've got quite a big fan base, so it's understandable. Then we had Tisdale, who I don't know, he didn't really get it, I don't think. What we are, I don't think he really understood it.
Exeter or Lincoln? Was it Exeter or Lincoln?
Exeter he came from, So I don't think he really got it. And then you've got Ross has come in. He's obviously seen what the club's about already. And I think the point that really got me with Ross, I remember we had Blackpool away in September, and he scored. I think it's his only goal. He scored. He scored again. But he wanted to run and celebrate with the fans, but Tisdale sort of had it where there was never really celebrating after goals.
Yeah.
Right.
And that we always noticed that. But he wanted to go over and be with the fans and that, and no one else would, because that's not what the manager wanted.
Yeah.
And and then it was about a month later we had Fleetwood away, and we were just watching him. You could see he was a leader, and obviously it just looked to me that he was. When we appointed him, I was a bit sceptical about it, but then I thought, do you know what? He's actually.
Yeah.
He's a leader and he understands the club.
Yeah,
I think interesting about Martin as well. Obviously, him being a Premier League centre back for many years and a captain of he's always had the leadership traits there.
Yeah.
So having had the experience at the very top level, I know Championship predominantly, but to have almost a person with the calibre of Russell Martin, it's actually quite a big thing for Don. I know you've had before and stuff. You've had some big names, but it looks promising, Russell Martin, I must say.
Absolutely, I agree.
So sort of put links in is, do you think he's the right man to take the club, obviously, back to the levels of the Championship, etc., potentially further, or?
I hope so. I really do, because he just there's a lot of belief around next season. If we get it right, I think we're going to come out of this pandemic in a stronger position than a lot of other clubs.
You think so?
Which is what I'm quite confident about. I think. We've obviously, because we've got the arena and everything around the stadium, we've already got events going on there. We've got snooker events, darts events. We've got loads of stuff for hotels opening up. And a lot of clubs don't have that, which is why I'm quite confident about next season. And if we can keep our better players like Reece Healey, Alex Gilby, all of Lee Nichols, all of those players, then we've got the spine of a great team, and all we need is just to add to it with a few wingers, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, in fact, that actually was one of our questions in terms of the ambition for next season. So do you think? I know they finished on points per season, points per game. They've just survived.
Yeah,
but that's not where Don's going to be. We all know that. I think. And I think next season, would you say there would be a promotion or playoff challenge? Would that be almost unexpected, or would that be an actual challenge?
I would like playoffs. I think it's really. I think I wouldn't be disappointed. I wouldn't be disappointed if we finished like mid-table. I wouldn't take that as a bad season, but I think playoffs is achievable with what we've got 100%. I think some of the players we've got are unreal, and I don't think it will be like Healy's goals to game ratio and his goals per minute ratio. I think was like second highest in the league, or behind Ivan Toney. So I don't. Sorry,
who would you say has been the best player this season for Dons? Reece Healey?
I'd probably say Alex Gilby. Healy's scoring the goals, but Gilby is an all-round player. Like he won League One Player of the Month in December. And he's just, as an all-round sort of attacking defender, I think he's our second top scorer. He's got a lot to him that is really useful for us. And as a midfielder, like in this league, he's got if he stays fit, I think he's the best midfielder in the league.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So another thing we sort of can see, Pete Winkleman, obviously, with the ownership. Do you think he's still the right man to take the club in the direction of things, or?
I've said a lot about Pete, I think, and I've met him. I spoke to him about it, and he does really care about the club.
Yeah.
Like a lot, and I think that's, you know. And I spoke to his son after. His son, we always see his son Bobby after away games on the train all the time.
Yeah.
And he's just as passionate about it, and they both really do care about the club. It's just, if we really want to take it to that next level, I don't think we can do it with just Pete.
Yeah.
And I do think outside investment is 100% needed.
Yeah.
And I've always said that if Red Bull came in, we should just say yes straight away. There doesn't need to be a thought process.
Yeah, I was going to say, Red Bull were quite big in Milton Keynes, obviously, with the team down there. So, yeah, I can see that. It makes sense in that side of things.
Because there was talk, there was links with Red Bull, and obviously
massively.
Pete came out.
It's always been hinted that Red Bull have been interested, but there's never really been anything concrete to it. I think Pete said a couple months ago that he had 2 offers of investment and he turned them both down, but one of them he did really consider,
he said that.
Which might have been Red Bull.
Yeah, and I remember as well. I've actually met Pete Winkleman as well.
Yeah.
And he's such a passionate guy. He loves Milton Keynes as a whole. Milton Keynes as a city.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And obviously the club is like his little, I don't know.
It's like his baby.
It is almost like his baby, and the way he obviously cares about the club is massive. And he almost feels like he's that into his thinking a lot, where because he cares for the club and loves it so much, he's almost blinded by what he needs. Yeah. Like he doesn't want to give up.
100%.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you there.
Give away like a chunk of the club, which will take it further.
I think there's no denying he does care. Because obviously, you look at the ground. To me, the ground itself is Premier League worthy. There's teams
like 1,000,000%.
There's clubs like Bournemouth, etc., who don't have facilities like the Dons have, etc.
Of course not.
I just, for me, seeing it needs more investment, like you're saying there, to push the club.
100%.
And obviously, being Milton Keynes born and bred as well, you want to see your local teams doing well.
Yeah, of course you do,
etc. So.
Yeah, obviously I'm a Liverpool fan, and he's obviously an Arsenal fan. And obviously, I've always been Milton Keynes being a local club, obviously gone to many Dons games, and just keeping an eye on them as they're your local club.
Yeah.
And obviously playing in front of 30,000 fans potentially, even some that could fill up. I know they never do.
Yeah.
But the basic.
The support is definitely there. I think.
Yeah.
If you look, we had 15,000 home fans for the Mansfield game last season. You know, I think we played Brighton in the Championship and we had 20,000 in the stadium. So I really do think it's there. It's just, I understand why people don't want to come and watch a low League One club. I completely understand it. So I like when people say, "Oh, we've got no fans at that." So I don't think any team could sell out 30,000 seats when they're drawing 0-0 at home in League One every week.
Where you're saying you ain't got any fans, but the problem is people forget you are still in a way in a club. You're still quite a new club.
Yeah.
That side of things. I think it takes time to develop. And obviously, you're always going to have that stigma around you with the Wimbledon side of things.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for, like you say, our generation, etc., they're going to understand it more when the old school is always going to be.
You're a franchise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think our support is growing in a way because obviously I've been to a few meetings of the club and I've seen all the demographic and stuff, and the majority of our fan base is under 25.
Yeah.
By some distance. So I think the support is growing, and there's a lot of younger fans who are younger than me starting to come a bit more often and coming to away games of that I've not seen before this season. So there's definitely, I think that's why the timing of creating Don's Action was perfect, because we sort of saw that things are starting to build now, and there's a core fan group who know nothing but MK Dons, whereas before us there was fans who probably supported someone like Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
For example.
And then just come on board because you need them. Like you said, making Don's Action is massive.
So what you're saying with the Don's Action side of things and getting involved in the club, is that quite a recent thing, or was that always?
Yeah. So we founded it sort of out of nothing in January because we played Crewe at home. It's family fun day. There was 10,000 people there for a League Two game, and it was awful. It was awful. It was so quiet. There was nothing. It was just terrible. And I remember I put a sarcastic tweet up that night saying, "Oh, look, this, someone needs to do something about this." But then I was like, well, how many times have I seen the tweet, "Someone needs to do something about this," and no one does it?
Yeah, exactly.
So then my mate Liam, who he agreed with me quite a lot, and he messaged me the next morning going, "Look, someone's created an account for your idea, which was to move sort of our core fan group to the east stand, which is next to the away end, because if you go to other grounds in our league, the best atmospheres are the ones where the hardcore fans are by the away end.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because it creates that clat, and it's better. And we sort of came up, we thought that would be a good idea. And he goes, "Someone's created an account for it." And then about 10 minutes later, he goes, "Oh yeah, it was me who's created the account." So he gives me the password, and then we sort of went from there. And we had a couple of meetings with the club, and then we sort of realised that actually we could just do it, our idea, where the core group of the fan base is now, and it would still work. Yeah, and that's what we've done. And we we set about it, and then last summer we really pushed it, and it has sort of became something now. Everyone sort of knows it's block 11. That's where that's where everyone goes if you want to sing, if you want to chant, all of that, and it's only taken us a year to do that. So we think it's gone quite well. And we've got plans to make it go better, and we're, constantly trying to improve away games as well. We're doing so much. And when we first started, there was the MKDSA, who were the main supporters group. They were doing nothing. They were completely they were a laughing stock amongst our fans, essentially. Right. But they've got new people in now, and they're actually starting to put, they're starting to do their ideas, and it's sort of meaning that we can concentrate on our stuff more instead of having to deal with stuff that we think is boring. Yeah, they deal with that stuff now.
Because I know someone who I used to actually work with, Steve Gifford. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, Steve Gifford. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to actually work with Steve, and obviously he was very passionate about the MK Dons. I think he's some sort of chairman in some sort of role now, isn't he? I'm not sure what it.
Yeah, he was the MKDSA chairman. Okay. When we first started, and you could see he wanted change. Yeah. And I'll be fair to Steve, because he did always want to do stuff with the MKDSA. It's just sort of the people he had on the board at the time weren't that bothered in this. Were a lot of older fans, and they weren't bothered in the stuff that the younger fans were. Yeah. And obviously, because we're the majority, we felt we needed more representation. And obviously, this new group have come in, sort of taking it over. Colin, Darren, Aidan, and all that lot. They've come in, and they've really have made it something good. And they do so much stuff that was not there before. And I have to give them credit. They have done some good work.
No, that's brilliant. In terms of back onto Dons now quickly. For the next season, what sort of players do you think the Dons? Because obviously it is a sticky one because there are players out of contract. I think I'm not sure, about 12 players up for contract.
Yeah, 12. Yeah.
Need to be sorted by, I think, by the end of this month or something, isn't it?
I think it was yesterday.
Well, there you go. So they might have been sorted or
I'm not sure. It might be Friday. It's when's the 23rd? I think it's the 23rd.
Yeah, that would be. Sure. 23rd would be this time next week.
Yeah.
So
this time next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously that's already something that, because I know 12 players were obviously out of contract.
Yeah.
Now, what sort of players right now, if you went off it, would you think Dons need in terms of
wingers?
Wingers.
We have 0 wingers in the whole squad. We've not got one, and we play with 3 people up top. So you need wide players in that.
Yeah, of course you do.
So we've been playing strikers out on the wings. We've had Reece Healy out on the left, which is just a waste because he's our best striker. Yeah, of course. But we've got no other option. And then we've got Sam Numbe, who's all right. He's coming through from the academy. He was banging them in at the start of the season. He's had to go out on the he's had to go out on the right.
Oh, really? Okay, so you had to kind of be made.
You've got to adapt in a way as well.
Yeah. So just one more question from me as well. Obviously, you've supported Dons, I presume. Yeah. Who would you say over the years has been the best player that you've seen live for Dons? It's a tough one. A few.
Well, obviously,
Dean Lewington's obviously
Louis. He's not the best player, but he's the most consistent, and he will always be my favourite player ever. Yeah. Regardless of what happens, he's just a hero. Mm-hmm. It's a tough one because there's so many players who, on their day, were phenomenal. Like Darren Potter never gets enough recognition for how good he was. He allowed Delhi to be Delhi.
He came through Liverpool's academy, didn't he, initially?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
was phenomenal. Yeah. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, and he did all the stuff that allowed Dele Alli to just make himself this really good player and prove himself to be what he is now.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. But then there's so many strikers that we've had that sort of like Sam Baldock. He was always when I first started going, he was the one who was always scoring.
Yeah.
Chuck that is a Chuck's and EK. Yeah, last season he sort of. I loved Chucks. I thought he was brilliant, and he always got a lot of stick because his attitude was never great. When that's rubbish. Like everyone just sort of has this issue that all footballers should be happy and smiley and friendly and all of that. When if they're scoring goals, I don't care.
That's the main thing.
So that is a really tough question.
Give me your top three in no order.
Top three. All right. Okay. Darren Potter would have to be on there. I'd probably have to put Delhi on there as well. Yeah. Because that last season before he left, he was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who else have we had that I really like? I probably would have to put I'd have to put Louis on there.
Yeah, only purely
because
he's like a legend right now, isn't he?
Well, it's not even that. If you look at his stats from this season, he's still one of the best. I think he's got like the second best fullback stats in the league, and he's 34. He's 36 now. 36, so yeah. So he's incredible, and I've had it since I've been going to Don's week in week out with a season ticket. We've sort of had it that he's too old, he needs to retire, all of this, all of that. But he keeps proving people wrong, and I don't think this season coming up will be his last. I think the one after will be his last. I think he's still got 2 years left in him.
Dons have had. You've had so many left backs that have come in, like younger ones. But none of them have really nailed down.
I'm going to say that if he's putting them performances in, how can you not? You can't.
Yeah, no. Well, we've had some that have gone on to do sort of better things than Don because they can't get past him, so they've had to leave. Like Brendan Galloway, he went to Everton. Adam Chickson went to Brighton, I think it was, and now, but they've both sort of come back down a bit. But we've had a couple that have sort of always been sort of look like they're going to be his replacement, and then they just can't take him out the side.
Yeah.
Like we had Ben Tilney, he's gone to Northern Ireland, he's smashed it over there, I think. But everyone thought he would be the replacement, but it just hasn't worked out. And now everyone's sort of saying that Matty Sorinola, who's in our youth team, it looks like he could be the one.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen of him, he looks very good. So I really hope he is. But it's so hard to tell with Louis because 1 minute he looks like he needs to retire, and the next he's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
So
of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last question for myself, obviously being the founder, etc., of Don's Action, where would you like to see Don's Action in 5 years' time?
Well, we want to be selling out Block 11 week in, week out in 5 years. We want to be in the Championship in 5 years. We want Block 11 to be sold out every week. We want to be, a real sort of other clubs look at us and, we get fans from other clubs coming to Don's to see Block 11 and what it is. That's our aim. We want to be looked at by other clubs instead of people, when they first think of MK Dons, they think, I've got no atmosphere, I've got no fans. We want people to be going, actually, do you know what? That they've got a decent atmosphere, and there's a lot happening in Milton Keynes in a few years that could really help us. There's a new university being built, so there's a lot more younger people who are going to be coming to Milton Keynes, and that could do us a lot of favours as well. So we're quite positive about how things could be. We just need to keep coming up with new ideas and keep people interested.
Yeah, and obviously, Ollie, being young yourself, I think that helps because obviously you're always, because you're part of that generation, if you like, which is always trying to be innovative. And I want to become. I'm sure you want Don's Action to be big.
Yeah.
And
100%. Yeah.
Whilst you're growing as a person as well, if you can grow that as well, that'd be a massive to you. And obviously, Don's on the map. Because at the moment, let's be honest, we are recognised as, or Don's are recognised as a team that have no atmosphere. Hardly any fans in the stadium. And obviously, if you can have an impact to potentially change that in 4 or 5 seasons' time, that'd be brilliant.
100%. We've already done so much. We had like 400 followers last summer. We managed to raise £1,000 on cameras from it, but there we go. we raised over £1,000, and that really helps us to improve the atmosphere because we were able to get things in. Like we needed a new drum because the old one was smashed to pieces. So we managed to get that. Got some flags in as well, and then at the start of the sort of pandemic, we helped Milton Keynes Hospital raised over £1,000 to them as well. So we're sort of trying to get into as many things as possible to really, sort of show that we're not just bothered about sort of Block. We want to be sort of representing Milton Keynes as a whole. Yeah, we really want to create a sort of community sort of feel to it all. But sort of with me being so young with it all, like you're right. It is. I want to keep innovating with it. I want to keep it, sort of going for it, like for as long as I possibly can. But I know that one day it will sort of be. There won't be any room to, or I can't think of anything to improve it, and that's when I'll go. Someone else needs to do this now.
Yeah,
that's really good to hear.
Yeah. So I think for us, we'll crack this one up. It's been a pleasure to have you on, Ollie.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Good luck with everything in the future. I hope.
Yeah, you too. Keep going with your podcasts.
Yeah.
Thanks
for that.
Thank you for coming on.
So yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Take care, mate. Bye bye.